I've spoke before about how I think layer ones are going to be a pretty big contender on the next bull run. And it basically comes down to the fact that if you look at the top 50 cryptos right now, I think it's something like 27 or 28 of them are layer one. So if you think kind of like statistically speaking, they're probably going to do well.
But let's get back to some questions, because I really want to find out, especially from you, Ran, because I already know what cryptos LOC is bullish on. What cryptos are you bullish on over the coming, 2 years during the bear market? What are you accumulating, if anything? What are your favorite cryptos?
So when you get into this position where you huddle down, I think the one other thing that happens to people in the bear market is that they start being more realistic. So why do people become more realistic? Because in a bear market, people become actually pessimistic. But naturally, because humans are made up of the hormones that they're made up of, humans are actually, by default, very positive people. Okay, so generally, that's why we say good morning and we say good night, because you don't walk up to them saying bad morning, bad night. The reason is humans by nature are actually positive, forward-looking people. And so I think what happens in a bear market is we go a little bit negative, and because we go a little bit negative, we become realists. And in being a realist, what you've got to look at is you've got to look at what protocols are actually really going to survive this thing. And especially if it lands up, if the macro thing takes 12 months and we think crypto may recover when macro recovers, you need to look at projects that have at least a 12-month runway. You need projects that have real-world adoption and smart people building on them. And you should probably avoid anything that's not being used at the moment. So that's kind of like, you got to look at the fundamentals of the token now, and you got to take away all hype and all fluff and stuff like that. It's not like a bull market where you can buy sentiment. Like the bull market, all you need to do is just buy sentiment. You can't buy sentiment in a bear. So we've now narrowed down our portfolio using that lens. And so, the kind of tokens that we're buying is, obviously Bitcoin just remains our saving. So whenever we can, we trade out of US dollars into Bitcoin, because we think at $20,000, it's an absolute steal. It might go to 15 and it might go to 10. But if you're buying, we buy every single day. The minute we get free cash flow in any of our investments every single day, the minute we make any revenue, we just put it straight into Bitcoin. It becomes our reserve currency. The second thing that we're buying is obviously ETH in anticipation of the Beacon chain, in anticipation of the POS merge, of the chain merge, which is, we think, going to happen in about 2 months. So we think it's going to happen before September. We've got a little hint that it may be happening much sooner than we think. Then, things like Solana, because, like it or not, Solana's got huge usage. If you look at their number of active addresses and you look at their the usage on the chain, Solana is right now one of the most used chains, so great one. Near Protocol, because it has amazing technology and amazing backers, we think that they may build an ecosystem around Near Protocol, so we love that. We love the cross-chain narrative, because we think that what we're realizing now is we're going to live in a multi-chain world, and we need to be buying cross-chain stuff. So things like Rune, for example, Stargate, for example, anything to do with the cross-chain narrative that we think will actually work, we're buying. But we are very, very, very much looking at the fundamentals. We're looking at survival more than we're looking at potential upside. We'll manage. So we're buying into quality, and when we think that we're more confident that the market's on the up, that's when we'll start maybe going down into slightly more powerful, slightly more degen, smaller protocols.
All right, cool. Yeah, there's a lot of good tips there. I'm also a big fan of Near, and Solana obviously is going to be a good choice. Lady of Crypto, how about you? What are your favorites right now? What are you accumulating? We've lost audio on you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Cool. So I've spoke before about how I think layer ones are going to be a pretty big contender on the next bull run. And it basically comes down to the fact that if you look at the top 50 cryptos right now, I think it's something like 27 or 28 of them are layer one. So if you think kind of like statistically speaking, they're probably going to do well.